What's up? Back at it again. Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. Hit that like, sub to the channel if you are not a member, and also hit the notifications to get all of my content, all of my videos. Salute to the whole entire Lions Den basketball as well as boxing community, and salute to all of the people that rock with me, man. Um, let's get right to it, man. Um, now, um, my Philadelphia 76ers, uh, they did not have their best game yesterday, of course, um, against a struggling Phoenix Suns team. Um, and we all know what took place yesterday, particularly when it came to Paul George. Now, I haven't been as critical of Paul George as of late because Paul George, in my eyes, he's actually had somewhat of a decent season if you consider what he's been through, and also in comparison to some of the other guys that are on the team. Joel Embiid. Um, Look, is Paul George the same? No, he is not, and I've been telling people that. Okay, um, we we know the reason why. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people know the reason um, why Paul George has experienced some of the things that he has experienced. Um, and as you know, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler is being shopped right now. Um, the Miami Heat are currently trying to work something out right now, at least behind the scenes with him being suspended and everything. We all know the situation that pretty much had unfolded in Miami. Um, Hello, how you doing? How you doing, Avery? This is the thing, man. This is the thing. I want to do this comparison when we talk about Paul George and when we talk about Jimmy Butler, because we are talking about pretty much the same position. Of course, Jimmy Butler plays he can play the two and the three. Um, but who would you rather have? Who would you rather have at this juncture? Um, and the reason why I asked this question is because Paul George, a lot of Philly fans are feeling like, okay, we want Jimmy back. Okay, that's what a lot of Philly fans are feeling, and they feel like Jimmy Butler can fill the void of a Paul George. Now, we know the contract. Um, we always got to look at the contract. It's not as easy as it may seem. We're talking about 212 mil for 4 years with Paul George. What's up, John? John? Oh, you said, Unc, I'm in complete darkness. Is this hell? Yeah, because I'm driving right now. I'm driving right now. So, uh, when I go live and the lights are on and you see me and stuff, you gotta catch me then. But right now I'm driving right now, so you gotta listen. What's up, Ted? But that's what we gotta ask right now. Okay, we have to ask who is better at this juncture, and we're talking about at this stage of the game. If you want to go career for career, a lot of people would say Jimmy Butler in terms of what Jimmy Butler has, what he's brought to the table. You know what I'm saying? Um, a lot of people feel that Jimmy Butler can really lead a team more so over the hump than what Paul George can, and there's no argument there. He really, and he has proven that. He's proven that. Another thing is that Jimmy Butler, he tends to play hurt. Now I am going to say this about Paul George. Okay, Paul George, to his credit, he has played hurt. He's played through injuries too. Now he's also sat out, because of his body breaking down and everything too. You know what I'm saying? That's also been a knock on him too. But overall, a lot of people want Jimmy Butler in place of Paul George, and I'm talking about mainly in Philly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I am a Sixers fan, and I'm looking at I'm looking at it from a risk reward type of standpoint because here's the thing: while I like Jimmy Butler, what do we know him to be? He could be a diva himself. Um, he's he's forced his way out of different organizations, in which I can't even argue there. That's what Brian Windhorst was talking about earlier, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Brian Windhorst has said, but that, and he's left a bad taste in some of these organizations' mouth. That's the flip side of Jimmy Butler. Now, there's always good and bad to each player. The good that you're going to get with the Paul George is that, there's going to be nights, stretches where he's on. He's going to take it back to when he was in Indiana, 4 games, maybe 5 games in a row. Then next thing you know, he slumps or he ends up getting injured or something, and then you got to worry about the playoffs. He'll have a game, a one good game or whatever, and then next thing you know, he gets lost in the shuffle. That's why he developed his name. Whereas with Jimmy Butler, he'll coast through the regular season. You'll wonder where the hell Jimmy Butler is at. Show up a game or two, and then next thing you know, he turns up at the right time. Jimmy Butler would turn on. He turned it on at the right time. Playoff Jimmy. But you got to worry about Jimmy Butler, his headstrong attitude. Most people can't deal with the old school mentality. You know what I'm saying? Some people can, some people can't. But then again, you also got to worry about him being a diva or whatever because, him pouting and getting mad and being unprofessional and stuff. That's what you got to worry about too. And see with Jimmy Butler, and a lot of people don't like this. What I'm talking about right now. A lot of people do not like this. It's a lot of people that love Paul George, man, and I like Paul George too. But you don't want to face the reality of this guy. I think I saw Two Rod talking about it. Now I didn't click on the video or whatnot. But Paul George, man, you have to be able to criticize him. Listen, I criticize every player, but you have to be able to be objective, especially when you talk about a guy like Paul George. Paul George is not consistent. He's not. He tends to be inconsistent. Now this season, I will give him this. Okay, now yesterday he played poorly. Maxey didn't. He didn't play particularly well either. I mean, I think Maxey had 31. You know, our best player though was Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre, he had 26. But the thing about it is you know, Paul George, I, he only had like 13 points or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And was the crowd harsh? Yeah, they were. But this is the thing though about Paul George. I'll take Paul George showing up playing poorly than an MB that don't show up at all. You understand what I mean? Now, look, we want Paul George to play, but he's going to have nights like that. Okay? But is it a risk to get Jimmy in there? Because if you get a guy like Jimmy Butler in there or whatever, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Jimmy Butler is going to come to Philly. But if you get a guy like Jimmy Butler in there, think about what you're doing. Jimmy Butler in the past has him being 35 years old. That was a couple of seasons ago when this took place. He was dealing with younger players, and he didn't like dealing with younger players. He had went through that. You know what I'm saying? So think about him going back to Philly. He's gonna have to deal with Maxey. He's gonna have to deal with McCain. He's gonna have to deal with some of these, you know, some of our young guys there, and then also he's gonna have to deal with some, you know, even a Oubre. You're gonna have to deal with some guys that really don't have no championship level experience. Now, and we know that Jimmy Butler, he didn't win the chip or nothing, but at the same token, he's been to the finals. He's been to the finals. Hold on one second, y'all. Y'all want me to get on here and y'all want me to lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell the truth, and some of y'all can't. Y'all can't stomach the fact that when you talk about a guy like Paul George, he could be, rather inconsistent. Now, through the stretch of when we've been winning, when we went on our win streak, I give Paul George his credit, man. Paul George played really good basketball. He played really good basketball. But I don't know, man. Like, hold on. You give up, okay, you give up Paul George. You go after a guy like Jimmy Buckets. You go after a guy like Jimmy Buckets. Then you got to wonder, well, is Jimmy Buckets, is he going to be a ticking time bomb at any time? That's what you got to wonder. And that's what I kind of wonder sometimes. That's what you got to wonder about Jimmy Butler besides the injuries too. Now, they did lay it out. They did lay it out there. I think it was on First Take, about the missed time and how much time Jimmy Butler has missed and stuff like that. Which is, I mean, it's a valuable point. But you also got to take into consideration too that Jimmy Butler he pretty much has laid it out there for the organization. He put his body on the line, and I can appreciate that. And you know, as much as people want to sit up here and they want to try to ignore the fact about Pat Riley and what he's doing and stuff, he should appreciate that too. He should appreciate that too. And like I said, we don't know everything, every nook and cranny of what's going on behind the scenes with Miami, the Miami situation and stuff. But obviously, it's bad. It's bad enough to where the relationship has went sour, even after y'all have had somewhat of some success. Now you didn't get the chip, but I even think too that even if Jimmy Butler was to get a chip and to get a championship for that organization, I still feel like Pat Riley would have intervened, and he would have flipped the script on him. I just really feel like that, man. I really do feel that way. But overall, most people are gonna say Jimmy. I mean, I would take Jimmy Butler right now. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking Jimmy Butler. Um, now if we're talking about, because both of those guys, this is another thing too. Both of those guys, when we talk about Jimmy Butler, and when we're talking about Paul George, when they were when Paul George and Jimmy Butler were at their peaks or whatnot, they both kind of played similar style, with the exception of Paul George, him being clearly better on the offensive end. But they both were, two-way players or whatnot. And that's part of the reason why I compared them too. You know, I've never did this comparison before. I've never said who I would take and stuff. Uh, But if we're talking about overall, who's been successful in the league, who had more of an impact, you got to go with Jimmy Butler. And I think right now too that if you put both of those guys side by side or whatever, and you had one to pick, I think the majority of the people would pick Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? I just have that. I got a feeling that that's what would take place. Um, and like I said, man, this isn't hating on Paul George. A lot of people see y'all got to learn to have conversations like this. Some of y'all don't want to have conversations like this. Some of y'all don't want to put this shit out there and be real about it and talk about these tough conversations like like a player like Joel Embiid, right? I'm gonna be real. I think honestly the way that Joel is doing things, I think Joel Embiid is better off retiring. Just to be honest with you, because you're playing one game and you don't play another. You're playing one game and you don't play another. And I feel the same way too about a guy like Zion Williamson too. I'm like, when are you gonna step your game up? You know what I'm saying? To where you could just stay healthy. It's not just even just stepping your game up on the floor, but when are you gonna step your game up to stay healthy? That's the bigger question. Like I'm not mad at Paul George. Like, listen, the people that were sitting there last night, the fans that pretty much were going, disappointed in Paul George and stuff like that. I'm not mad at Paul George, and here's why: because at least he played. Now, of course, we want production. We want production, but I mean, Paul George is if you're looking for Paul George to carry a team like he did in Indiana with the Pacers and do what he did, going to the conference finals and all that other stuff, man, you are going to be led astray. You're going to be highly disappointed because that's not the Paul George that you're getting. And I told people that, and really, honestly, you could look at that with Jimmy Butler too. He can't carry anymore. Listen, Ted. Listen, bro. I I think he can compliment better than he can carry. You know what I'm saying? Maxie, did he struggle too? Yeah. Listen, y'all think I don't? I'm not hard on Maxie. I'm hard on Maxie too. But the best player on that floor was Oubre. I want to see. This is another thing too. I mean, it might not happen, but I want to see Oubre just take over more and more, man. Oubre at one time, and especially when he was playing, kind of a little bit in Phoenix, you saw it, but mainly like when he was in Washington. I wanted Oubre to break out, man, and really be that guy because I like Oubre's game, man. I've always appreciated Oubre's game, and I don't think he don't really get enough credit for his defense. He's not a Drew Holiday or none of that, but I've seen Oubre step it up on the defensive end too. But having said that, I can appreciate at least some guys being out there trying. Joel Embiid, man, he doesn't even try, man. He won't even try. He won't even give himself a chance. So I can't sit here and criticize um Paul George. I can't sit here and say all this bad stuff about Paul George and stuff like that because This guy is 34 years old, man. He done been riddled with injuries and stuff. Paul George, like I said, you knew what you were gonna get. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta look at it like this though, Ted. Through the stretch of when we were winning and when we went on the streak, Paul George was there. Paul George was putting up some buckets. Yeah, I mean, even scrub players try. Yeah, hey, you 100% correct. So I'm not gonna sit up here, man, and down Paul George or anything like that. See, y'all wanted me to get on here and talk all this trash about Paul George and stuff like that. Nah, I'm not finna do that. Now, do I wish he would step it up? You know what I'm saying, in the playoffs and stuff like that? Yeah, I really do. But I just know that his body, he can't he can't do it like he once did. You know what I'm saying? And that's not his fault. That's just life. You know what I'm saying? That's he like his body is. I put to you like this, man. His body is like 40 something. You know what I'm saying? But in his mind, he's still in the 30s and everything. If that makes any sense, he's had so many injuries. Yeah, well, that one major injury, and then here knick-knack injuries there, here and there. It's having an effect on his body and stuff. You know, what's up? No pain. Nah, I mean he's healthy now, but nah, he's just a very good complimentary player. That's all he is right now. He's not a guy that's gonna lead a team. Jimmy Butler, he can lead a team, but see, you got to wonder about Jimmy Butler now too. Jimmy Butler, 35. They're around the same age. You got to worry about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler age is catching up to Jimmy Butler too. You got to worry about that. And then you got to worry about his attitude. Paul George, every now and then, man, Paul George could be a little diva sometimes. See, Paul George, he's been known to complain about touches, about getting enough touches and stuff like that. But Jimmy Butler, man, if he feels slighted in any way, and rightfully so, he was slighted by Pat Riley. They, coming out there saying that they weren't gonna give him, any type of extension and everything. Of course, that's a slap in the face too, considering that Jimmy Butler led you to two finals, as well as the Eastern Conference Finals too, as well. You know what I'm saying? Now you didn't get the win, you didn't get over the hump or whatever, but I mean, come on, man. I mean, winning the finals is not easy. Winning winning in the playoffs is not easy. And that's what some people got to understand. But I wanted to have that conversation, man, in terms of, you said Riley stood on business. Pat Riley, man, full of shit, Ted. Okay? Pat Riley's full of shit, man. Pat Riley could have he could have built around Jimmy Butler. Listen, you had a chance. Let's take it back, okay? You had a chance to get Kevin Durant, over there in Miami. You pulled the plug on that. You had a chance to get Damian Lillard. You pulled the plug on that. You had about you. There were at least about like 5, 6 other guys that could have came over there to Miami or whatever, but you chose not to build on what you were on the finals team with guys that you didn't even expect to make the finals. Like, let's just be honest. Nobody expected Jimmy Butler and all of those guys and Bam Adebayo and all them guys to make it to the final. Let's just keep it 100. So I mean, yes. Did he stand? Did Riley stand on business from a perspective of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna run things my way" and all that other stuff? Yeah, but at the same token, you kind of fuck things up though. Let's just be real. And I don't have a problem saying that because like I said, Pat Riley, one of the greatest to do. I got him. I got him up there. He's in the top coaches of all time. I wouldn't even get mad if somebody said Pat Riley number one. Matter of fact, I've said this before. I put Pat Riley above um, Phil Jackson, and the reason why I put him above Phil Jackson is simply because he's better in the front office. However, there are some flaws about Pat Riley that we're failing to and we're neglecting to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about how bullheaded he is. Nobody wants to talk about how stubborn he is. Nobody wants to talk about um, how he could be shrewd in the sense of how he does his players. And in an instance like this, you do everything that you can. Look, we understand that he's 35 years old. We understand that, but I mean, he's not 40. Jimmy Butler's not 40. So, I mean, look, we could sit up here and we could praise Pat Riley and say all these great things that he did and stuff like that, but we got to come to grips and understand that Pat Riley was wrong, man, in this situation. Now, Jimmy Butler certainly didn't make it better either. You know what I'm saying? By him saying some of the stuff that he said. I mean, I don't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with him saying how he felt about with the Boston Celtics series and um, with whoever they played or whatever. If I was out there on the court or whatever, I would have won. That's his confidence. That's the competitor in him. You know what I'm saying? But also, Jimmy Butler, you being at the press conference and you discussing business like that or whatever, man. Sometimes you do got to learn to keep your mouth closed in that instance. However, I will say this though too. Pat Riley shouldn't have said, "Oh yeah, we're not going to extend Jimmy Butler and stuff like that." See right there, man. That's a clear slap in the face, man, to a guy that led you to the finals or whatever. Uh, Even with him being hurt, even with him having family situation, with his dad and everything like that, man, you don't do that to somebody. So, and a lot of people, they probably would have felt the same way that Jimmy Butler felt. You know, yeah, no. So, listen, man. At the end of the day, bro, uh, you know, this situation, man, it was a good relationship at one time going sour. Um, I think it could have been handled better. You know what I'm saying? On both ends, but that's just not the way that it went down. You know. But yeah, I also want to talk about Skip Bayless, man. Listen, bro. This is what we got to understand about Skip Bayless, man. And I've been hearing a lot of people, believe it or not, taking up for Skip or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, um, look, Skip Bayless, man, has always been uh he's been an intense competitor. You could tell that he doesn't want to lose a debate. He doesn't he hates when people are getting the best of him or whatever, because that's part of the reason why he scooped to a lower level, or he did a low blow by what he did to Shannon Sharp that day. Okay, uh, he doesn't want to lose even when it comes to life outside of the of a debate. Okay, he wants to be he wants to be the person that you talk about. He wants everybody's attitude to be his attitude. He wants everybody to think like him. He wants to be the one that to say that my body is better than your body, and uh I can run more miles than you. You can't do this better than me or whatever. And that even spills over into when we talk about everyday lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Now the fact that Skip Bayless is married, okay, but he's still jealous of a guy in Shannon Sharp who is not married and has the freedom to do whatever the hell he wants to. You know what I'm saying? You have to look at that and you have to say that this guy has a very sick way of thinking or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Skip, man, is 70 something years old, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I like I said, I don't really get big on age and stuff like that, because there's some 70-year-old men, man, that can still run, jump, do everything, climb, you know what I'm saying? Still out there, still move like they 30. Some of them are just blessed to do that, you know what I'm saying? But, when you get to a certain age, man, you got to be able to just put some things away or whatever. And in a setting like this or whatever, Skip actually would have got the extra edge on people had he just stayed in his lane. You know what I'm saying? But what are you you still trying to think that this is the 70s and the 80s and shit like that, man, when you were in the Cowboys locker room, or when you were uh having a debacle with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and shit. No, these ain't those days, man. Listen, Shannon Sharp is that guy right now, and Shannon Sharp was better than you at what you did. Now there were some things that you had the extra edge on him about, but for the most part, Shannon Sharp pretty much cooked you on everything except the whole LeBron and MJ debate. You know what I'm saying? Because when it came to football, what can you tell Shannon Sharp? Shannon Sharp actually was on the gridiron. You weren't. When it when it comes to any other subject matter or whatever, what can you tell Shannon Sharp or whatever? Shannon Sharp has actually been successful. Shannon Sharp has won a ring. Skip Bayless, man, you only wish that you could do some of the shit that Shannon Sharp has done. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, you want to always get out there and say that, well, I'm better at this and I'm better at that, and you're always cutting low. The way that you cut Shannon Sharp low, that goes to show you, man, a bitter. And I'm gonna be real. when he said that Shannon Sharp wasn't better than Tom Brady and all that other shit, you know what? You know what Skip Bayless sounded like, man? He sounded like a bitter ass old man. You know what I'm saying? That's what he sounded like. And him paying 1.5 million allegedly, if he did that, that's a bitter ass old man. I mean, let's just be real. He's bitter because everybody else, they over there, they having lots of sex, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's probably left out. Like, nobody came to his birthday party. I think no, nobody came to celebrate, or I think it was a going away party or something like that, man. Nobody came there. Don't nobody want to be around your ass. Don't nobody want to be around you. So you can't be mad. So you willing to pay 1.5 million to get some booty or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, you look like a dumbass doing that shit. Listen, you want to take 1.5 million, and how long is you gonna last though? You know what I'm saying? You what, for 5 minutes? If that? Like, come on, man. So really, honestly, common sense ain't so common no more. That's what you should be saying about Skip Bayless or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That right there is just like stupid as fuck, really. And he wants to get up here and claim he's so smart and cut Shannon Sharp so low and all this other stuff. Shannon Sharp, you ain't never heard no allegations of Shannon Sharp having to pay for no booty. Or you know, and listen, I don't judge nobody. If you pay for the WAP, hey, that's on you. But you ain't heard Shannon Sharp paying, so many millions to get some to get the WAP. But you have to, and on top of that, you married. So that, what does that say about you? You know what I'm saying? You looking. Listen, bro. Skip has always been like this. He was really, honestly, I think he was jealous of Stephen A. Smith too. He was jealous of Stephen A. Smith too. Stephen A. Smith started to steal his shine. It's whatever. Listen, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm about to bounce. This is a real um, lesson that a lot of you can learn from Skip on what not to do. Listen, if you ain't got it like that, don't try to sit there and show your weaknesses and show your inabilities by you trying to be hyper competitive, because all it does is make you look like even more of a fool. No, 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 no. You continue being who you are, right? And you work on your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. But be calm about the shit. He was jealous of Jalen Rose. Yeah, like you're jealous. He's pretty much jealous of all these athletes. That's why he goes at him. You're jealous of T.O., jealous of Chris Carter, jealous of Shannon Sharp, jealous of all these different athletes. Hell, he was. I know he was probably jealous of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Nobody wanted to be on the panel with you. They didn't want to do no interviews with you. That's why, like, everybody was willing to talk. They was willing to talk to Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? They want to go on Club Shay Shay. All the athletes want to go on Club Shay Shay. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't nobody want to talk to you? Really, honestly, they were ready to punch you in your mouth. That's what they were really ready to do. If we really want to be honest about everything. So, Skip Bayless, man, has always had like an intense jealousy, and it's been an intense jealousy for Shannon Sharp, for other guys too. Listen, man, what this all boils down to is is a woman that he couldn't get. Now, the woman did claim that she never had no dealings with Shannon Sharp and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't know, but like, even if she did or what have you, she chose who she chose. Skip never got uh, Brady. Yeah, that's what he's mad about. I think that's what he's mad about. And see, here go a guy that you talk about so much, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. Man, Brady ain't thinking about your ass. Brady probably think you full of shit too, and you're his biggest fan. You over here talking about Tom Brady and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, Tom Brady somewhere laughing, kicking his feet up, smoking a cigar or something. Well, I don't know if Tom Brady smoked or whatever, but man, he's somewhere laughing. He's like, man, this guy really think that I like him. He wishes he could be Tom Brady, man. That's what it is, man. He really want that interview bad, but anyway, man, let me go ahead and get up out of here, man. Got to get some food in the belly. Make sure y'all hit that like, sub to the channel if you're not a member. Also hit the notifications too. Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. Shout out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball as well as boxing community. Until then, I get at y'all later.